It Happened on the Job, the podcast for relatable conversations with contractors. Sponsored by Goodman Insurance.
Welcome to It Happened on the Job, episode 91 today. My name's Mike. That's Brian.
Yo.
Our guest today come to us from North Texas. We're venturing out a little bit outside of California, and I love it. It's going to be good for us, I think. Anyway, to the introduction, Katherine Burk. She's got her own consulting company, Katherine Burk Consultants. That's a mouthful for me right now. Also working with CTJ Energy and steel fabrication. How you doing, Katherine?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
My pleasure. Thanks for coming. It was it's fun to have people from outside the state. And for those that don't know, I lived in Texas for 6 years, so this is a bit of a homecoming. Yeah, a little bit of a homecoming for me. This is a good one for me. I like this. So anyway, as we get started, give us a little history on you, how you got started in this industry, and the road to where you are now with your own consulting firm.
Just to shore it up pretty quickly, I've got 20 years working in the oil field in completions, and 7 years working for the military, doing the rebuilding efforts of Iraq and Afghanistan after the second Gulf War.
Wow.
So my ex-husband and I, we opened up our own wireline company back in 2009 when the economic crisis was happening, and all of the Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac were all in the toilet. You know, the banks were in the toilet. The car companies were in the toilet. You know, we had everything was going south, and we went all in and rode the wave back up. So there is hope. Here it is 10 years later.
Yeah.
I did the same thing. So I got bought out by Nine Energy, which is an oil and gas company, service end, and we went public a few years ago. I thought for sure I was going to live off those royalties forever, and then here we have Corona. And 9 months later, I got laid off in the industry and decided, you know what? I've got some skills. I'm going to open up my own business and start over again. So that's what I did.
Well, and not working for anyone or tied to anyone, really, right? I mean, you're taking your knowledge and going out there and finding people that need it or want it.
Master of your own destiny.
Absolutely.
So how did you, if we could back up a little bit, what got you and I mean, if I may, as a female, got you into the oil field industry 20 years ago?
Well, when I graduated high school, I'm from Austin, Texas. I did not go the college route immediately. I went to work for Delta Airlines and in the Austin airport before it became Bergstrom International Airport. And I decided I didn't like working every holiday, every weekend, and strange shifts. So I went to a temp agency and said, I've got some skills. I don't know what to do.
For me?
Yeah. And so they tested me and they said, you would be perfect in procurement. And so I went to work.
Did you say what's procurement?
Yeah. Yeah. So I went to work at Martin Decker Totco in Cedar Park, Texas in 1997. And that was when we built Martin Decker Totco pressure gauges. And back then we were building everything from the offshore platform from the water's edge up. And so I started out at the bottom in data entry and worked my way up into purchasing, and then inside sales, outside sales, buyer, and then field sales, to then opening my own company in 2009.
Wow.
So I started from the bottom.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I'm still here. I've got to do something.
So with your consulting firm, what is it you guys, and I say maybe you guys, is it just you? Do you have a staff? I guess let's back up a little bit. Just you?
I opened it in June of 2020.
Oh, wow. So real new. That's awesome.
Yeah, she was COVID laid off, and then she started her own thing. Yeah.
That's awesome. So what is your competitive advantage? What are you looking to do and go in and help these companies with?
So I fly a lot of drone, and I do a lot of drone videos. And in steel fabrication, I'm able to conduct angles and create videos based on what real blue collar workers are doing. And the blue collar worker is the backbone of America, and any country, at any place, and anywhere in the world, your tradesmen are the ones that's going to keep it afloat. So since I have a lot of experience, I have a female take, but a very male-dominated industry.
Mm-hmm.
And so I put it to popular music, and I fly my drone in and show what people our capabilities. And at CTJ, they've been in business over 13 years, 8 at their current location. They've got a 140,000 square foot facility and over 30 welding bays. We can build some stuff. And so what I do is I just showcase, highlight, discuss, film, and then put some commentary to it, kind of like a podcast, you know?
Well, that's awesome. So you're kind of like you're taking your knowledge of the industry and I apologize if I'm dumbing this down, and you can smack me when we see each other. But are you more like marketing, right? Like being showcasing and showing it off, but from the perspective of I know what this does, how it works, what it's supposed to look like, so I know where I'm going. Like, you know, because that's the thing with most marketing companies, right? You hire them and they don't know crap about your business, right? You almost have to teach them, but you're going in with that knowledge and saying, I know how to show this off. I know what's going to look good. And so did I get that right? Is that okay?
Spot on.
He's not going to smack.
Perfect. Very good. So is CTJ, are they your first client, only client? What's the, where are you guys at? Where are you? I say you guys, where are you at right now?
They are my first client. They wanted to hire me in April. I got laid off in March with COVID. I was working in Houston at a commercial heat treating company. My background is more mechanical engineering and metallurgy. And so. Oh,
that's it.
And explosives.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah, right? Here we are. We're talking to like guys that paint walls and some other stuff. And here she is blowing stuff off and building it off the water and everything else. Awesome. Very cool.
But for the most part, you know, I felt like I can bring some information to the general public with a twist. I don't know. I'm not a millennial. I'm 45, so I've got a lot of experience in a lot of different areas that I just feel like the general public doesn't know how hard people work, and especially in a blue collar worker atmosphere. And, you know, it's the blue collar workers that were having to work during COVID.
Yep.
I was living in a hotel in Houston. There was no one there. And I videoed every day that I was there, showing like COVID was happening. Everybody was at home and I was in Houston at work, you know, just trying to keep heat treating going, because people were still having to build things were still happening. But for the most part, when the whole world started shutting down, we still had to continue, even though we were starting at from a gangbusters, sort of, because the steel industry was in the toilet with the trade wars with China. And so it's just one of those things. I think that the blue collar worker doesn't get enough pat on the back.
Yeah, no, very true. Yeah.
And
let's say there's a bit of a stigma to it, right? I mean, we've talked to it in the past with some other guests about how you know, it's kind of looked as lesser than, you know, something along the lines of, you know, going to school in a 4-year degree. And I mean, you can still be blue collar and still have, I mean, the extensive education background that you do, right? I mean, it's still, there's opportunity for everybody inside that industry. So I think, yeah, it's fun seeing people that are proud of that and want to showcase that off and get that out there for the people to see. So how did you get introduced to CTJ? Was it you going after them? Did they find you? How did that work?
They wanted to hire her, I think, back in April, right?
But I mean, did they want to hire you because they found you, or did you go in saying I can do this and then they wanted to hire you?
No, they had been following my work.
Oh, okay.
So
were they following you back when you were in Houston in the hotel? Just kind of, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So she was creating a resume for herself without even knowing.
A little video resume. Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
No, they wanted to hire me. And I really thought after interviewing all of the people that are involved in the company, it is a economically disadvantaged women-owned small business designation. I have a extensive background in military contracts, working for the rebuilding efforts after the Second Gulf War. So I really felt like I could bring the government experience to them, since they had those designations. You know, like 26 to 29% of all government contracts are set asides for small business.
Yep.
And you have the economically disadvantaged, women-owned, and you have somebody who knows how to drive that business. You know, it just gave us an edge from the oil field market crash. Now we could redirect and go into construction. And so I just thought that last time I went all in with our opening up our wireline company and our crane company, and we went all the way to going public on the New York Stock Exchange. So I felt like this was the time, like, and these were the people that I wanted to take with me as we go on this new adventure of 2020.
That's crazy.
That's super cool.
That's
so
fun.
they offered you a job and you said no, right? Is that how that went?
First.
Okay, all right.
And then I said, you know what? I think I'm going to open up my own consulting firm. And they said, we'd love to have you either way. And so now I'm 1099. And I don't know, it's only October.
Yeah. Do you have other people kind of courting you a little bit and wanting to use your services?
I have. I went out to Canatex, a crane company, and I produced a really strong video with Kid Rock. And I showcased all their cranes. And so I have worked for other people. I'm allowed to work for other people. And I'm just so new at doing this. And then with the drones, I picked up the drones about 4 months ago. And so I've crashed a few in the lake right here outside my house. I made a video about that because you can see it just all the way. And then
were you able to recover it, or was it gone? Well,
I have all my scuba dive equipment here, but the water is real murky, and I'm kind of spoiled with this emerald green water in Florida and wherever else I can go. But so I broadcasted it on my Facebook area because I live on the lake, and we have a really tight-knit community. And so this guy came out with his scuba dive equipment. I went out for coffee on a Saturday morning, and there he was scuba diving behind my house. And so he said, I don't know exactly where it is. I said, I've got the video footage, and I
can show you. Yeah.
I can show you. And so I showed him the video, and then I said, it's right there. And he went down 8 feet and picked it right up.
That's crazy.
So I sent it back to DJ. DJI is the drones that I use. I had the insurance, $40, shipped them back. They shipped me a new drone. I bought another one just in case. So I have backup and
insurance on your insurance. I like it.
Yes, of course. So that's kind of what I do, and just trying to bring a fresh perspective. I do a lot of videoing out in the mountains when people weren't able to travel. I put together videos for people just to say, you know, the world is still moving, and if you can't move and you're stuck at home, I'm healthy, I'm strong, I'm not spreading germs. I'm staying by myself, and for the most part, you know, I stay within my my 2-person comfort zone, and I film all kinds of wildlife, being out on the lake, the sailboat shop. They come in and bring the sailboats next door, and I'll do a time lapse. I mean, so I'm trying to do stuff that is, we're still here, we're going to make it. We made it through 100% of our bad days. We're going to make it through this, and if we're not, if God calls us, God calls us. But in the meantime, I want everyone to know that I love them.
That's awesome. Just spreading the good vibes.
Yeah. What is it like? You know, I mean, we're here in Southern California, so we have our own version of COVID. What's the COVID life like out there in Texas?
So depending on where you're at, metropolitan city-wise, in Houston, it was pretty bad, and so I'm not going to go in any political directions, but
right.
Here in the lake, we have a different vibe, and so we don't have quite the mass gatherings and a lot of COVID here. My son is 9 and he is in 4th grade at the elementary school down the road, and so we've had 2 positive tests for COVID since school has been reinstated for us. So the last 6 weeks of last year, we had shut down, or the last month, and then the first 6 weeks of this year, we were doing homeschooling as well. And so he just went back to school a few weeks ago, and this is our 2nd case. So it's not
bad.
Yeah, the bars and the restaurants. I have a boat, and I would visit all the restaurants when it was closed just to try to help spread money and keep people's jobs going. But out here on the lake, we really don't have a whole lot of COVID out here.
You guys are living
wildlife,
just a little relaxed and
drones
out in your own little area out there. That's awesome.
Yes. So the good news is that the steel fabrication and construction is blossomed. I had just finished building a dock, a grotto, a kids bar, and an adult bar. Right when COVID hit in March, I finished. And so a lot of the trades that are out here on the lake are a year out in waiting time. So people are spending money.
Yeah.
Trades are being used, HVAC, landscaping, building, docks. It's all growing at an exponential rate because everybody's trying to fix their place up.
Yeah.
Because they live and work there now.
They see it all the time. Yep.
Yeah.
So being in this type of industry, I'm really starting to see an upswing in what we're doing, and the demand is there.
So kind of curious, again, I mean, this is more just, we don't know what we don't know, right? Out here in California, I mean, and I think it's a nationwide thing too. So I'm sure it's similar, but the tech push or the visibility push from a construction or contractor standpoint is kind of, it's growing right now, but it's obviously lagging far behind in other trades or other aspects of business. So obviously, and what you're doing is really pushing the boundary on a lot of that, right? I mean, 4 or 5 years ago, contractors weren't looking for somebody to take a drone and show off the work that they were doing because it didn't matter. Nobody cared about that. So maybe kind of speak to that a little bit. Has there been a conscious decision or conscious decisions made by maybe CTJ or yourself, or what put you in this position to have this? I mean, because this job the job you're doing now didn't exist 4 or 5 years ago, right? Nobody cared about it or wanted it. So what were some of those factors that allowed you to be doing what you're doing now that you think?
Well, I have lived in 7 different states and worked all over the country following the oil field for the last 20 years. And so I've lived and done so many exciting things that just I'm not meek or scared. And so when I saw that there was a need, I just reinvented myself.
Just created it yourself, yeah.
I made something from nothing.
Yeah.
And so I got laid off. I didn't know what I was going to do. I filed for unemployment, and CTJ, offered me an opportunity. And then I just felt like I had more to offer than just being an executive salesman. I felt like that it was time for me to do it again. So I'm creating this from nothing.
Yeah. When you went to them and said, "This is what I want to do. I don't want to do the job you want me to do. This is what I want to do." How receptive were they?
Absolutely. They have actually, I think it's probably 5 or 6 1099 staff people, because we shifted a lot of our core business from the oil field, building flares and combustors and gas busters and sand separators, everything that you have on a standard location, which you guys have them out in California. I've been there several times. Out
off Long Beach and everything else, yeah.
Yeah, and so just to be able to come in and fly with a drone and feel comfortable in that space is unusual for a lot of people. Unless you've been out there and worked in those spaces, you really don't know what you don't know. Now, being that I've done that, I feel like I can bring a fresh perspective and then throw in some modern music and then some quips and nerding out.
Make it cool and fun, and
because I've already learned it.
Yeah. Well, so maybe speak to a little bit about, like you spoke to or you touched on a little bit about being a woman in that industry, right? I mean, it's not only is construction and that contractor field pretty male dominated as is, but I feel like it's even more so, and I may be wrong, in the oil field industry, right? So, I mean, what's it like being a woman in that industry specifically?
It is the coolest job in the world. I have been trained by some of the best people who have spent their careers mastering their crafts. And being a woman, as long as you're a woman that is out there for the correct purposes.
Yeah.
Right. So when I go to location, I'm there to learn. I'm not there to disrupt.
Right.
And so what I have found is that people are very, very, very positive in wanting to share that knowledge and give it to the next generation. And so I have been blessed beyond. I love it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Very fun.
And I think that probably, because that exudes from you, right? When you're actually working with those people, it goes beyond just like man-woman relationship. It turns more into a colleague coworker, like we're working together for a common goal. And so therefore there's that respect is garnered at that point, right? And as you put the work in and people realize that it's not just female male, type of relationship. There's something more there, I guess, beyond the surface is what I'm saying.
I'm not there to just have tickets signed.
Yeah.
Like I'm there on location.
You're there to work. Yeah.
I'm there to work. Yeah. And, I'll sit on location on fishing jobs or wireline jobs or coil tubing jobs, or, if for whatever reason somebody drove off of the rancher's land and hit their prize cow, I was right there with the company man. I was like, I want to see what's going on. I want to know how this works. And they're always happy because I smell better than most of the other guys.
That's true. That's very true.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It's a great respect for each other. I respect them, know when to shut up and know when to get out of the way and know when to listen, and never put your hands in your pockets.
Never put, okay. Is that like a saying, or is that like a true, like, don't do that?
It's true.
Okay. All right.
I got a story for you.
Oh, let's hear it.
Okay. All right.
You said it happened on the job, right?
Right. Yep. This is it.
Okay. So in the beginning of my career, it was all straight hole, meaning that there was no directional drilling. Right. It didn't go this way and head off in any direction. So it was just straight hole stuff. This is a long time ago, before fracking. And I was learning how to do wireline, and wireline is the explosives that you run with frack now. But back then, you'd run all these gamma ray CC logs. You would basically log the well and see where the good cement is. And then you put the explosives down and you detonate exactly where the geologist has mapped out in the well site so that you could get the most production. Whether it's oil, it would be up north. If it's gas, which is here in the Texas area, and South Texas, it's, a mixture of both. So the first time I'd ever got to go on a wireline job, I knew they were handling explosives and I didn't know anything. I hadn't taken any explosives training classes. At that time, I was just a sales lady, 24 years old. In the oil field, just a kid, just a kid. So the guys take me out there, and of course Ramos is the lead operator. I'll never forget him. He puts his arm around me. He says, "Come here, we're going to take you to the hole." We go to where the hole is, and the Christmas tree is sitting on there, and he's showing me how to open the valves and how everything is supposed to go in order, and then running the wire line from the wireline truck up through the shiv wheel, and then down off the crane into the wellhead. So I'm like nervous. This guy's got explosives. I don't know anything about this. And so he's like, pulling me right next to the wellhead, and I don't want to be next to the wellhead.
Looking down the barrel of a gun right there, right?
And he turns around, he's kind of talking to me, and he's, goes back to working. And then he turns around and I'm further away, and he starts yelling at me. He's like, "What are you doing way over there?" And back then we didn't have anything on location except a wireline truck, a crane, the wellhead, and then usually a frac tank was sitting there with some water in it. So when he turned around, the third tank, hiding, because I didn't know what was going to happen. I was like, "You're really putting explosives together on location right here in front of me. If it goes off, it goes off in all directions, right?"
Yep.
The frac tank is the only thing that's stopping it, right? It's going to go through the frac tank. So he stops what he's doing. He comes over there. He goes, "Get out from behind that frac tank. You get over here. I'm going to show you how to do it." So I go back over there, and I'm standing, I'm watching, and I don't know what to do with myself. I mean, I'm just a kid. We got explosives on location. We're in the middle of nowhere. It's hot. It's Texas. It's probably 125 degrees on the caliche. It's a lot of elements going on. So I take my hands and I slide them in my pockets. And I'm standing there, and he looks up at me, and he stands up. And now, mind you, this is a long time ago. This is well over 20 years ago. This is not how they act anymore in the oil field. But Ramos looks at me, and he just punches me right in the chest. And, I was tough back then. I took a hit pretty good. And, I popped back and I go, "What?" I was like, "What are you doing?" And he goes, "Why is your hands in your pocket?" And I go, I don't know what to do with myself. I'm nervous." And he goes, "If something happens bad on location, can you run with your hands in your pocket?"
It's true.
I don't know that you're going to have time to run if the explosive goes off, though.
Well, you never know, right?
Yeah.
There's all kinds of things that happen on location. So anyway, Never put your hands in your pocket.
That's awesome. I have to imagine that's probably a story you tell pretty often when you're walking around an oil field.
No. No one has their hands in their pockets. They all know.
Except for the 25-year-old sales guy that's just sitting there with the hand, like, hey.
Yeah. So there's my story. It happened.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's funny.
It literally happened on the job.
Yeah. Where else do you see yourself going with this? I mean, obviously your knowledge and your background and history is in the oil field industry, but I mean, what you're doing could really it could cross over to all different types of industries, right? I mean, different types of trades and all different things, even just in the construction industry. So do you see yourself kind of doing that, like perfecting that and being that person to kind of go around? I mean, are you interested in outside the oil field, or what else are you looking to do?
Well, with CTJ, because their facility is so large and they have an established presence, they can build anything.
Yeah.
And so just through my LinkedIn campaigns and the videos that I've been producing, I've now been offered 2 construction jobs to bid for to build a Harbor Freight Tools store and to build a Dollar Tree. And actually, one of them would be in Palo Alto, California.
Oh, there you go.
The word has gotten out that we are shifting our target. We do want to stay oil field. Don't get me wrong, that Fort Worth, Texas is a hub for a lot of oil field stuff. But this is really starting to grow into something bigger, and just through marketing and through the videos. So the sky is not the limit anymore.
Yeah, right. Now we're going this way too.
Yeah.
But so kind of touching on that marketing a little bit, it's something we like to discuss with people. I know maybe you're not directly, involved in the management decisions and those other things, but it's such a new concept for a lot of contractors. Is CTJ asking you to do other things other than these videos when it comes to digital marketing, or is that kind of your goal, or what else are they doing to have that digital presence?
Well, they have a pretty good marketing campaign through their website. They have a very strong website, and we've got CAD drawers. We've got engineers. We have a pretty bulk staff. And so they just never had taken their presence to the next level. And so I had already been making movies and videos for the last 10 years. So they had been watching a lot of the things that I had been doing, and they just felt like I'm the expert. So go get it, girl.
That's awesome.
And it's working.
Yeah. And so you post them on obviously LinkedIn, or is there other avenues you guys are looking at? I mean, Instagram or Facebook or any of that stuff that you guys do? All of it?
Yeah, I have Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Snapchat, WhatsApp app, LinkedIn. I mean,
got them all.
It's a lot. It's a lot to do on. The videos that I create for LinkedIn, I've done a lot of, hey, we're still alive. We're here. We love you. Stay positive. We can get through this. With the little bit of work that we had while Corona was really, stripping a lot of companies from being in business,
Yeah.
We took a significant hit. We had 30 welders. We're down to 5. It's lean times, but things are picking up. And so I have to create different video content for my Facebook that has a more personal feel, so that people know that they're not only just buying from me because I am the salesperson or that video lady, that I'm a real person, and I do a lot of projects, and I specialize in what I am telling people that we can do. And so I'm able to give people a different feel for my presence as a person off LinkedIn versus Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, whatever.
And are you doing all the editing and stuff yourself, or do they have people to help you out with that? No? Doing it all yourself, huh?
Yeah.
Wow.
I love it.
Do you?
I love it.
We hate it. That's the one thing about this. That's the one thing about this whole thing that we dislike the most is
I like this part.
This part's fun. Part. Yeah. But luckily
everything else after that.
We found people to edit it and post it and do all that kind of stuff for us.
Good people.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
you guys are established. I mean, you said this is the 91st episode.
It is since February. We started in late February, so it's been pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Very fun. Yeah. So what else do you see yourself doing? What's the future look like for you? Where are you headed? What's the next goal? Yeah. Are you coming out to California to build a Harbor Freight?
I'm not sure. I'm waiting for the bill of materials and for the go, no go.
Yeah.
So right now, what I've been doing is doing a lot of bidding on the government and city, state, and local municipality websites that everything is for a small business set aside, veteran owned, all those designated. So I'm getting better at trying to diversify myself. So we've got government work, and we can have contracting work, and we have oil field work. And so the next target for me is the railroad. That's who I want to do business with.
Through CTJ or with anybody? Just anybody?
Well, through CTJ, I would like them to capture railroad work. There's a lot of really good set aside business from Trinity Rail. Is a big company here. So they outsource a lot of their steel heat treating and stuff like that to people like CTJ. But for me personally, I'm just so new at having my new business. I would like to grow. I'd like to get more clients. I'd like to produce more video content for other people. And I wouldn't mind, upping my 1099 status. That's why I opened up Katherine Burk Consultants, LLC.
Yeah. Well, I mean, not that we are the Joe Rogan of podcast listeners, but we will make sure to get your information out there so that people can find you for sure.
Absolutely.
Thank you. It's a lot of engagement.
Yeah, for sure. I bet. So kind of on that, how do people get a hold of you? How do they find you? How do we point people in your direction?
Well, my LinkedIn is under Katherine Burk, and you can find me through there, or you can Facebook me. I have an open profile on Facebook. My Instagram is also Kat Burk, and that's the same thing as LinkedIn. And anything that anybody they can find me on. My phone number is 682-290-1033. And my email address is k.burk2010@yahoo.com.
Very cool. We will make sure we link all that stuff in there for you. But wanted to thank you for the awesome conversation. Love what you are doing. I think kind of on that, I mean, that's kind of the reason why we started doing what we're doing, right? I mean, just kind of pushing the envelope in the construction and contractor space digitally and from a technology aspect. So we're right there with you on that movement. So thank you for taking the time with us, and we'll hope to keep in touch.
Absolutely. I'm following you guys' work now. So
thank you so much. Yeah. We'll make sure to promote each other. We'll take a little bit of time to edit this, but as soon as we get it out, we'll let you know, and we'll get you tagged and everything and get you out there.
Awesome. Well, it was really nice to meet you guys.
Nice to meet you too. Stay safe out there. Have fun on the lake.
Yeah.
Thanks, Katherine. Have a good one.
Bye, y'all.
Hey, thanks for listening. If you've made it this far, go ahead and give us a like or 5 stars or whatever means you like us.
Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss our next episode. And check out our website for more video content and extras.
While you're there, shoot us a message if you want to be a guest. We'd love to have you on.
Thanks again, and we'll see you next time.